Grab some inexpensive bandanas at the craft store. Choose a traditional red bandana pattern and also choose another pattern that coordinates with the traditional one. Iron your bandanas to eliminate any of those fold wrinkles. Then take a piece of heat and bond iron-on adhesive and cut it to fit the bandana. Place the heat and bond sheet on top of the bandana with the paper side up. Then take an iron, set it at medium heat, and iron the paper on top of the bandana. Once the paper has cooled, grab a corner of the paper and peel it off the bandana. You will be left with a shiny coat of adhesive on the bandana. Take your coordinating bandana and position it over the bonded bandana. Once you have the bandanas positioned, flip everything over and iron over the non-adhesive side of the first bandana. Set the bonded bandanas aside and grab a pair of old jeans that you don't want anymore. You can also pick up a pair at the thrift store. With a pair of sharp scissors, cut out the back pockets of the jeans. Simply cut around the perimeter of the pocket and then cut out the inside layer of the pocket. Heat and bond also comes in strips. So next, place heat and bond strips on the sides of the back side of the pocket. Use your iron to press the strips. Peel the paper off. Next, place the pocket on the center but the right side of the bonded bandana. Press the pocket with the medium heat iron until the pocket is bonded to the bandanas. Take your new reversible placemat and let's set the table. For a barbecue table with a patriotic vibe, start with a fun melamine plate in a patriotic color. Tuck a summer or patriotic themed napkin, paper works, into the jean pocket and then add your fork, knife, and spoon. Now you're ready for a summertime barbecue or 4th of July celebration. But wait! Flip the placemat over and set a completely different table. There's no pocket on this side, but silverware still looks beautiful beside beautifully stacked plates. Add your coffee cup and a patterned cloth napkin and get ready to invite the neighbors over. I hope this inspired you to make some reversible bandana placemats that can be used for patriotic holidays or any outdoor entertaining event this summer.
I chose orange bandanas. You can get bandanas from the dollar store. You can get them from, any craft store. And they usually have all sorts of colors. You can also order them from Amazon. To start off with, we're going to need a 12-inch wire frame. And notice that it's a little bit elevated. It's not really going to make a huge difference, but this is how we're going to attach our bandanas. So to start off with, you're just going to take your bandana, open it up, take your corners to each other to form a triangle. Bring your triangle in all the way, like so. And then what we're going to do is we're going to fold it over in half and then in half again. And that's going to give us some nice points on either end to kind of simulate petals. So that's what we're going to do to about 10 to 15. Not sure exactly how many it's going to take. So then what you're going to do is take your bandana, place it above your form, and pull those ends through. Doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to add enough bandanas that we have that simulated petal effect. Pull it nice and tight so it stays. And there you have your first one. And I do want to make sure to pull it tight enough so that we don't see kind of like a cluster of the bandana here. We want it kind of like in a knot. Then we're just going to repeat that process over and over again with each of our bandanas. And a cool thing too is you guys can customize these. You can do it for summer and create daisies. We're going to do a sunflower for fall and year round, to be honest. You can also mix and match colors. I also picked up some green bandanas, which I think would look really nice. You can do combinations, do kind of like an ombre effect. You can do different size bandanas, and you can also just cut regular fabric into strips. Go to Joann's, go to Walmart, to their fabric section, and get a bunch of fabric, and just cut it into about 14 to 18-inch strips. So there's our second bandana, and we can also continue to pull them tight and cluster them together so that they're nice and close together, so that we have enough petals on this design. So there's our second one. Let's continue. Now we're going to come back in with our final few. And it is a tedious process, but I think the reward is totally there. It's very inexpensive to do. So far, we're looking at like $10 or so. So for something fun, something different on your front door than your standard wreath, this might be the perfect project for you. So just continue working them in. What we're actually doing is adding one and then tightening it after the video to position it perfectly. And we can always adjust it even more so once we hang the wreath up on the wall or the door. So I'm just tightening it. That's good enough for the time being. Coming back in with our next one. Tightening this one as well. Now it's time to come back in with our flower center, and to construct that, we're going to use some chunky yarn. Reason we're choosing this chunkier yarn is because it's going to cover a lot easier, it's going to take less wraps, and it just creates that kind of fuzzy look. So here it has a little bee on the label, and I think we're going to add a bee later on. We can decide. So we're going to take this yarn and we're going to wrap our smaller wreath ring that I showed you earlier with this yarn to simulate that flower center. So I'm going to start by creating a knot with the yarn, just tie it directly to the frame. And then all we're going to have to do is just twist it. So making very small shifts. Oh, we got a little bandana there. Pull that off. And just completely cover it. And that's going to create a really unique middle for our flower. I'm afraid to drop this yarn, you guys, on the ground because I don't know what it's going to pick up. So definitely keep your yarn clean. This yarn is kind of like, it's very staticky and it pulls on whatever's on the surface. So whether it be glitter or fur, whatever you have in your home, be careful with this yarn because it'll pick it up. Now we'll just cut a length off of our yarn. And then what you essentially can do is just tuck it right in. The chances of you pulling just that one piece out is slim to none. So I'm not worried about tying it on. I'll just feed it through the metal frame and stick it towards the back. So now to secure this, we're going to take a few zip ties. I fed it through the wire of the smaller frame, then we'll feed that through the larger frame. And since it's black, it's going to match the flower center perfectly, and you're not even going to see it in the end. Feed it through. And tighten. Do the same thing on the other side. That way you have 2 points of contact, preventing it from kind of flipping over. Feed the zip tie through. And snip it off. And then you can just cover up those zip ties with the frame. So then go ahead and then fluff out your petals so that they're nice and straightened out. And I typically recommend you do that once you hang your wreath up to display. But now you can come back in with a bee on the center. You can come back in with a daisy, whatever your heart desires. And you have a very simple bandana wreath. So let's show you what this looks like on my wall. And here is our finished sunflower made out of bandanas. So what I love most about it is its simplicity. We didn't overdo it with too many colors or products, just use 3 in this. And I love that the flower center is just all black and it looks really fuzzy, which I think is really cool for the texture. So thank you all so much for watching. This is Nick Kretikos of Nick's Seasonal Decor, and you're watching me on Hometalk. Bye everyone.
I came across these adorable plastic garden fences at my local dollar store. To begin my project, I took some wire cutters and I cut apart the plastic fence, removing the butterfly portions from the middle. I also picked up some aluminum pie plates for this project, and I'm going to begin mixing up some plaster of Paris. I mixed my plaster of Paris according to the instructions on the packaging, making sure that I mix it very well so that there are no lumps and bumps in the mixture. Once I had it fully mixed, I prepared my pie plate by spreading some cooking oil on a piece of paper towel and rubbing it all on the inside of the plate. Then I poured in my plaster of Paris, and then I picked up the pie plate and shook it around and tapped it on the table just to remove any air bubbles. Next, I took my butterfly pieces and I placed them in the middle of the plaster of Paris mixture, making sure to apply a little bit of pressure and push them down into the mixture so that it comes up through the butterfly wings. I continued doing this with different pieces of the plastic fence to give me different designs and different elements. And to take my project a step further, I used the end of a paintbrush to write out the word welcome in the plaster of Paris on one of them. So I just drew it out with the end of the paintbrush, wiping it off in between, and then add a little flourish. Then I let these set overnight, and then since the cooking oil was in there, they slid out perfectly out of the pie plates. I used my hands just to wipe away any extra plaster of Paris on the front of the stones. I also decided that the welcome needed to pop a little bit, so I came in with a paint marker and I actually just filled in the lines in the divots as well. I left my butterfly pieces in the plaster of Paris, but if you wanted a different look, a more streamlined look, you could take the butterfly pieces out and have just the concrete look. But I actually like the contrast of the dark against the light stone. So once this was all done and they were all set, I took them out to my garden, and here they are, just creating a unique little stepping stone path. This is just a easy idea that you can do with some plastic garden fences from the dollar store. Feel free to get creative with this project. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and we'll see you on another video. Thanks so much for tuning into Home Talk. The next time you're at Dollar Tree, pick up a few of these common household items to get your kitchen organized. So I'm going to begin here in my pot and pan drawer. I have a nice spot for my pots, but then the lids are just kind of floating here in this pull-out drawer. So I'm going to begin by taking the self-adhesive hooks we got, and I'm going to hold up my pot lid, and then I'm going to place them around the pot lid so that they're nice and snug. And then this is just going to help guide where to put the hooks. And then you'll see when I open the door here, the pot lids are mounted on the side of my cupboard, and that frees up space underneath for the drawer. Next, I'm going to head under my sink here, and this place is just kind of a catch-all for all my cleaning products, and they're just kind of very messily stored under here. So I actually got this container a while ago at Dollar Tree. It's an over-the-hook door container, and it actually fits the kitchen bags very nicely, so you can take the roll out of that big clunky box. Next, I'm going to take this over-the-door hook storage piece that I got at Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use it to hang all of my scrub brushes for when I do the dishes, and this just keeps them off my counter and out of the way and easily accessible within arm's reach for when I'm doing the dishes. I'm then going to take this smaller over the hook door one, and I thought this would be perfect for my Swiffers and my cleaning dusting supplies to just hang here on the inside of the cabinet. Next, I'm going to take this magazine rack, and I'm actually going to put it into a big large tote, and this is going to store all my big larger items that don't really fit into cabinetry nicely, and then I can just take this tote and put it in my pantry. I hope that you found these organizational tips and hacks helpful, and maybe you can use some of these in your kitchen. Thank you so much for tuning into Home Talk, and we'll see you on another video.
grabbed a palette, removed the boards on the backside, and marked the edges of the wood slats to match up flush with the center support board. I used a circular saw to cut the palette in half lengthwise, but I wasn't able to get the boards completely flush, so I ended up using a jigsaw. I used 2 pieces of the extra support board and placed them vertically at the end of the palette. I used a square to mark the angle to cut the leg in order for it to sit flush on the ground. I added a support board between the 2 legs for extra stability and added supports on either end of the opposite side of the pallet. I screwed them together and then added slats all the way to the top using a rough 2x4 to evenly space them all the way up. Now I have the most affordable patio chair that I can enjoy all season long. I hope this inspired you to create a DIY patio chair out of pallets. Thanks for watching Home Talk, and see you next time. I grabbed 2 hanging baskets and liners from Dollar Tree for this epic garden project. I unclipped the chains off of one of the baskets and placed the liners in each basket. Next, I used sharp scissors to cut a slit in the middle of each section and in the center hole at the bottom. Then I grabbed some petunias from my local garden center and carefully placed them into each hole. Planting from the outside worked best for me. I set it aside and repeated the same steps for the second basket. Next, I filled the center of each basket with potting soil and watered it. I gently placed one basket on top of the other and secured them together using 4 black zip ties. At that point, I decided to add in a few more flowers on the edge where the baskets meet. Can you believe this is what mine looked like after 3 weeks?
I've pre-soaked 1 brick of fresh floral foam. We're gonna just take that and wedge it in. Now begins the fun part, and that is going to be carving your foam into kind of a conical or triangular shape. Right here we have some mini carnations. So I'm just gonna snip off the top and start placing them. So the biggest ones are sticking out the furthest, and then as we kind of approach the top, we are gradually getting smaller so that we kind of create that conical topiary shape. So to create the very peak of our topiary, we're gonna take a carnation, place it sticking straight out, and then we can begin filling in. So I placed a few more pieces to fill in any of the holes where you still see the foam. You created the perfect centerpiece or arrangement for virtually anywhere you would like. And you can absolutely customize it to create whatever shape you're looking for.
Let's get this laid out here. Let's start with a big bunch of baby's breath. Soaked my floral foam in water. I'm going to use waterproof floral tape. So I'm just going to start by putting my magnolia leaves in all around the base. And we're just going to cut it and stick it in. So think outside the box and consider spray painting some baby's breath to make something like this for yourself.
Take a sealable plastic container and fill the bottom 1/2 inch with clay unscented cat litter. Add salt to the top. Pour more cat litter onto the top. Mix the salt and cat litter together. Cut the stems on all of your flowers. Place the flowers into the litter and salt. Bury the flowers slightly. Add salt to the top and cover all of the flowers slightly. Put the lid on and let it sit for about 5 days. After your flowers are dry, you will need to carefully brush the salt off of your flowers. Mix up some resin. Slowly pour your resin into the mold. If there are bubbles, use a heat gun to get rid of them. Place your flowers slowly into the poured resin. After all of your flowers are placed, use the heat gun one more time to get any bubbles out. After your resin is set slightly, pour your next layer of resin slowly on top of this. Use your heat gun to get out any bubbles. After your resin is fully set, remove it from the mold. You can find a nice place in your home to display them with other keepsakes and mementos.
I found this piece of dryer venting at the reuse store. I'm going to start by slicing it down the middle. I'm going to go ahead and cut off a section. With this end cut off, I want to flatten it out. I want to turn them into wings. I'm going to make 2 different sizes. I'm going to lightly brush on some blue paint to the ends, some sage green to the middles, and then some cream paint to the tips. I'm going to do both sides of the spindle. I'm going to add some sage green. I'm going to cover the entire spindle now with this pearl glaze. I'm just going to use some small nails and a hammer to hold all 4 wings in place. The final thing I need to do is attach a small head. I love how fun this giant dragonfly is. It adds such a colorful touch to the fence and was so easy to make.
We'll start by giving this old fence a quick sanding and then brush the dust off and we'll be ready for stenciling. Got a dense foam roller. Offload the roller so there won't be too much paint. When you're stenciling, try to use a nice even pressure. And now you can remove the stencil, randomly place your next stencil and just continue. Okay, I've got the stem stencil placed. So now we're going to use the leaf stencil. I pre-place my stencils to knock it right out. What do you think of this project? It turned out great, and it's an easy one for first-time stencilers.
All you need is a stack of wood paint stirrers all laid out. I'm going to go ahead and paint them a beautiful yellow color. Now that my paint sticks are all ready, it's time to start putting them together. To add some wood glue in between the joints. I love this new piece of beehive art. I can't wait to see what it looks like when the plants start growing.
Okay, so first stage of this is for me to get this fence completely painted. I have got these melamine plastic plates I just picked up at the dollar store. I've also got a couple of these larger silver coloured plates. That's isopropyl alcohol. I've just cleaned the plate with that. I'm going to take a little bit of alcohol here. I'm just going to squirt it onto the plate. And then I've got these really lovely, I'm going to drop a little bit on here. I'm just going to move this around a bit to start with. Alcohol on there. There we go. Here we go. A little bit more of that. You can use a hairdryer or a heat gun. I'm just going to go around and around in circles and just see if we can get some nice kind of edges. Okay, now because this is alcohol ink, I'm actually going to seal it with this Kmart varnish. The second version that I'm going to do on these little plates is I'm actually going to use these stick and style stencils. This I've already coated with a second coat of paint. Okay, let's take this stencil off and see how it looks. Our third technique that we're going to create on these plates is going to be, we're going to go full Jackson Pollock. Next up, we're going to use this silver bullet, exactly the same. We can do that on one of our smaller plates. So let's see what it looks like now that I've hung them all up.
I picked up 3 of these styrofoam balls when I was at the dollar store, and I'm going to put one of these sticks in each of the balls. And there we go, it's as easy as that. So I want to go ahead and paint each of these balls. And I'm going to cover this in glue first. I've got a whole bunch of different colors of glitter here that I just picked up at the dollar store. Just lightly smush it in there. So I'm going to take that glued side and just start rolling it. And I'm gonna cover this ball with these beautiful glass rocks. Give them a little spray with a clear top coat. These garden gazing balls were so easy to make with just a few supplies from the dollar store. They were quick and they add such a beautiful touch to the garden.
I went to the store and grabbed some hula hoops along with black matte spray paint. I took the hoops out to my garden and decided to attach them to my house using small poultry staples. I then slipped a piece of pipe cleaner through the hole and attached the hoop, twisting the ends together. I used black electrical tape to join the hoops together. To attach the plant, I carefully moved each stem, bundling some together and following the curve of the hoop. I love the look of my new trellis, and it was so easy to make. And as the plant grows, I can simply add additional hoops.
Go ahead and grab yourself a tomato cage, and also grab some wood shims. Grab a scrap board, take the thick end. We're going to get a nice clean hole, and we're going to do this to all of our shims. What we're going to do is take a towel and just dip it in there, make sure it's all covered. Just wipe it on there. The sticky points that go into the ground, we don't need those. It's just going to snap right off. Now we're going to grab us some copper wire. We're going to put that through the shim with the hole in it. Just use it like a twist tie. Go all the way around. Once you get the second layer done, we're going to grab us a solar light from Dollar Tree. Take off that small part on the bottom, the stake. We don't need that. And let it float right in the middle. Now we're going to work on that last circle. And when the night starts to fall, watch this. That thing is going to light up. And you don't even have to turn it on or off. It works its magic automatically and recharges during the day. I ran to my local Walmart and grabbed 2 matching pots, one bigger than the other. First thing I did was level an area in the front that would be in direct sunlight and put the bigger pot in first. Next, I grabbed an old bucket upside down into the bigger pot. Make sure that it's centered. Next, I grabbed a flower pot base. I wanted to make sure that I turned it with the lip side down. We're going to take the smaller pot that we got and place it on the center of that pot. I want to grab some local rocks and place them around the edge. Next, I got out a new solar-powered fountain that I bought for $10. It floats in the water because it's got a float on the bottom, and it works great in direct sunlight. With this fountain comes some plastic spacers. What this does is make sure that the fountain stays in the center of the pot. Once you got it marked, you can go ahead and just trim it with a pair of scissors. Put some nice, clear water inside. Go ahead and place the fountain inside. Once the direct sunlight hits it, voila, you've got a water fountain. The most amazing thing about this is it's solar powered, so you can place it anywhere in your yard that it gets direct sunlight. Headed down to a local Dollar Tree to grab some rope, some clear bottles, and some cool little lights. Just take the hook off the top of the light. Next, we're going to take the bulb off. Next, we need to take the actual light mechanism and pop it out. What we need to do is paint this cover. Now on the bottle, we have a cork here. We can go ahead and just remove that. Next, I grabbed off of Amazon a bottle cutter. Put the bottle on the rollers and you go ahead and start turning it. What you want to do is hear this noise. That means you're cutting right through the bottle, but it won't cut all the way through. I'm going to show you a little cut line on there. Stick the bottle in the boiling water for a good 30 seconds. Once you got it in there and it's heated up, immediately go ahead and put it in the icy cold water. It's going to separate along the score line, and look at that. Perfect. Takes off the bottom and you got a nice flat smooth line. Put the lights back through our painted cover and clip it back on. Take some E6000 glue and place it around the edge. Take some hot glue and put it in the areas I didn't put the E6000 on. That's going to hold the cover in place while the glue is drying. We're going to stick the lights inside the bottle, set the cover on top. Then we're going to take that rope, stick some hot glue on the neck of the bottle, let that hold, and then we're going to start wrapping it all the way around the neck. And then take this extra twine, we're going to put it through the hook. I made 3 of these and we put them up, and it made a perfect summer afternoon.
To begin this project, choose your solar light set. Next, using 1/2 inch by 3/4 inch board, measure and cut 8 8-inch sections. Using a rad nailer, I secured these together, creating a square, but if you don't have access to this tool, you can always use a screw. Next, decide how long you want your light to be. We chose to use a 1 by 2 by 30 inch board. After sanding, find the middle of the board and mark off 5 points. We spaced ours 5 inches apart. Using a paddle bit, drill through the center of the board. After finding the center on the side piece and the length board, line them up and then secure. Once everything is square, measure your final 4 boards to make a hollow rectangle. Cut and secure these as you did the side squares. Finally, attach 2 eye hooks to either side to use for hanging. After my eye hooks were secure, I attached 3 feet of black chain link to each side of my chandelier. You can leave this raw wood and coat with a polyurethane to protect it from the outdoors, but I chose to use a satin black spray paint. Once my spray paint was dry, it was time to secure my solar lights. This took a little force, but warming up the plastic in the sun can make the tube more pliable. I chose to cut down my tubes, but this is of course personal preference. I have a pergola out back where I hung my new chandelier from 2 screw hooks. I absolutely love the new ambiance it creates, not only at nighttime, but it also adds a designer touch to my outdoor space.
some shaving cream from the dollar store. Sometimes odors sneak out from the bottom of our toilets. Take the shaving cream and spray it all along the crease of your toilet. With your rubber glove, spread it on so it covers and seals that whole opening. Let it set for approximately 10 minutes. You've now eliminated odors that were hiding underneath of your toilet between the seal and the toilet tank. Grab some Fabuloso from the dollar store. With a sharp object, poke a couple holes into the item. Place the cleaner inside the tank. A little bit of the Fabuloso will be released and will help clean your toilet. Grab a spray bottle. Fill the spray bottle with 3/4 water. Take a cap full of Downy and place it into the spray bottle. Replace the lid, give it a little shake, and you've created a wonderful air freshener that you can use anywhere in your home. Grab a small bowl, place a little bit of vanilla extract into the bowl. Also add a little bit of water. Place the bowl onto a baking sheet and place the baking sheet in an oven. Close the oven door and turn the oven on approximately 350 degrees for about 30 minutes. This will help your house smelling fresh as the vanilla extract aroma fills your home. Start by sweeping up your debris. Place a paper towel next to the debris, squirt it with some water, sweep the debris onto the paper towel, and then wipe the debris up with the paper towel. If you are using a dustpan, squirt it with a little water, sweep the debris into the pan, and it will help it stick to the pan. For those hard to reach places, place some rubber gloves onto your hand, squirt it with some water, and use your hand to wipe up the debris. Cleans it right up. For a Swifter hack, purchase a dollar store Swifter, place a dollar store fuzzy sock onto the Swifter mop, and you can use this to sweep up your floors. The great thing about this is you can wash and reuse again and again. Another alternative is to squirt it with some water and use it as a reusable mop. This works great on laminate floors, wood floors, and tile floors. See the dirt? Now all I have to do is wash and reuse. For cleaning tile floors, start by placing 1 part of vinegar into a bucket. Place a pool noodle onto your faucet hose and the other end into your bucket. Fill the bucket with water, 9 parts water. Dip a deck brush into the mixture and scrub your tile floors. This will clean all the pores and the grout. Then, with a mop, give your floor a warm water rinse. You can wash the mops afterwards and reuse them. If your vacuum cleaner is starting to smell a little stinky, this is an easy hack. Throw some baking soda inside either the bag or the vacuum cleaner itself. This will deodorize the vacuum cleaner and keep your air smelling fresh. To clean your grout, place your soft scrub into the grout. Use a toothbrush to scrub it into the grout and let it stand for about 10 minutes. Wipe it up with a clean, damp rag. Grass, mud, and dirt stains. Place some Dawn dish soap on those tough stains. Spread around to coat the whole stain and let it sit for 10 minutes or more. Lightly scrub the stain to get the Dawn into the fabric. Launder and your stains will be gone. Yellowing armpit stains. Make a paste of hydrogen peroxide and baking soda. Place onto the stain and let sit for 10 minutes or more. Lightly scrub at the stain. A toothbrush or spoon work great. Shake off the paste and launder. Clean out coffee and tea stains. Fill cups and coffee pots with water and add 1 Alka-Seltzer tablet per 1 cup of water. Let soak 10 minutes or more, scrub, and wash out. Remove pink stains from your toilet. Pour some hydrogen peroxide, the 3% kind you can find at the store, into your toilet and let sit for a bit. Scrub with a toilet brush and flush. Clean up stained cutting boards. Make a paste of baking soda and hydrogen peroxide. Place that over the stain and let it sit for 10 minutes or more. Scrub and wash off. Remove marker from wood. Place regular, not gel, toothpaste on a microfiber cloth and buff that marker right off the wood. Remove hard water marks. Spray with vinegar and wipe with a paper towel or scrub with a sponge. If you have really tough hard water marks, then I recommend making a baking soda and water paste. Place that on the hard water marks, let it sit there for 10 minutes, and scrub and rinse. If you get deodorant onto your clothes, grab a clean, dry cloth and rub the clothes in the direction of the fabric until the stain is gone. Clean stained sinks. Remove food stains, pot marks, and more by sprinkling a little baking soda into the sink and scrubbing it. Rinse when you're done. Remove ink stains. Squirt rubbing alcohol onto the stain and let it sit for 10 minutes or more. Blot at the stain with a damp cloth and see if the ink is gone. If not, repeat until the ink is removed. Once all the ink is gone, launder. Clean silverware marks off dishes. Make a paste of hydrogen peroxide and baking soda. Place on the dish and scrub. Wash when you're done. Remove blood stains. Squirt hydrogen peroxide onto the blood stain and let it sit for 10 minutes or more. Blot with a damp cloth to see if your stain is gone. If not, repeat it until it is. Once the stain is gone, launder as usual. So we're going to start with creating some cleaners. This is an all-natural soap, good ingredients, no harsh chemicals. So this glass container holds approximately 2 cups. And what we're going to do is put 4 tablespoons into the bottle. Next, we're going to add water and fill it all the way up to the top. Now that the lid's on, we give it a little bit of a shake to get that soap mixed in with the water, and this one is ready to use. All you got to do is spray your cleaner on, and I like to use washcloths that I can reuse so they're eco-friendly. So this cleaner is great for granite countertops. It's good for any surface. It will not hurt any surface. Once you're done, you rinse your little washcloth out and you can give it a little rinse. This cleaner is also good for sinks. Do not forget to use your cleaner. Go ahead and get it good and clean, kill all of those germs, and go ahead and rinse it all out. The best way to buff a faucet afterwards is a good old microfiber cloth. But you just go in and wipe the faucet and it shines right up. No need for harsh chemicals. So for this one, I'm using vinegar, and I'm gonna pour in approximately 1/10, and then I'm gonna fill the rest with water. So for this, I'll be using a mild abrasive sponge. Now please note this is vinegar. So if you have any granite in your shower, do not use vinegar. Vinegar is an acid and it's really hard on granite. So you would want to use the other Castile soap. So I'm gonna go ahead and spray the vinegar mixture onto the tile and the grout. And then you use your sponge or washcloth onto, and it will get your grout clean. This is great for floors as well, your backsplashes, any of that. And then all you do is rinse it off when you're done. Can you see all this white here? That is mineral deposits and soap scum that ends up on your shower. So there are 2 ways to work at your glass. One is to spray it with vinegar, especially if you have those mineral deposits. This will eat away at them and help you clean them. Be careful again of what kind of sponge you use because you don't want it to scratch your glass. And then you just scrub your glass and you'll get all those deposits, at least as most you can, and then you'll rinse it all off. Now we're going to talk about another great cleaner that most people have in their homes, and this is baking soda. Now baking soda is great for sinks, especially cast iron ones, but it is abrasive. So you can sprinkle this in your sink and scrub your sink. Works great on stainless. But let's talk about how to make a less abrasive cleaner for your home by pouring some baking soda into a bowl like so. Next, I'm going to take some of that Castile soap, put about a tablespoon in, and give it a little stir. Now you want this to make a paste so that it's ready to go, but it should be of a nice consistency like this. I'm just gonna scoop a little of it onto my sponge. And now you just work on scrubbing at your floor. So now this is disinfecting and giving a little scrub because in my basin, it's bumpy in here, so it's getting into the cracks. And then this is also good for fiberglass sinks and showers because we don't want to use anything abrasive in those, they'll scratch. And these can be applied to just about anywhere in your home.